there. I need to tell you something. This city is absolutely amazing. Came here yesterday from Bangkok, Thailand, and this is actually not too far away. It's about 800 kilometers. Good hour of flight, but what a difference. So it is all much more open, much cleaner, much more organized, at least it seems to me, and this is not here in the city center. I directly recognized it when I took the taxi from the airport to my hotel. What a difference. The city is kind of much more European than Bangkok. So you might ask, actually I'm doing this trip to get away from Europe, but so how do I like it if the city is more European? Well, I can tell you, it seems like they are taking the best of both worlds. So it's like they have the good aspects of Europe, the good aspects of Asia, while just throwing away the bad things. So what city is this? It has two names, a traditional one and an official one. And traditionally it is named after this river you can see here. This is the Saigon River. So I am in Saigon, which is officially called Ho Chi Minh City. And like I think most of the locals, I prefer the traditional name. I always have an issue with cities named after persons, because most of these are somewhat questionable. And I think this is also the case for Ho Chi Minh, who for sure did a lot of good things for his country, but he also most probably did a lot of bad things. Anyway, this is Saigon, and today I am going to do a little tour of the main attractions. I will stay here for another day, and then at the end of my trip I'm gonna come back here and do some more exploring. Now, the traffic might seem confusing and chaotic to you, but I have to say that, to be honest, it's much less chaotic than in Bangkok, Thailand. So I think there are lots of videos that have been created about how difficult it is to cross a street here. But actually it's not that bad. You just need to find a space and just look how the car drivers and the motorbike drivers react, and that's it. Chan Hung Hung Dao. Sorry, I have no idea who that is. This is one of the main, I don't know, shopping streets, whatever. And there are also some historical buildings here from the French colonial time. So let's check them out. Nice dragon decoration here. Just look at these French colonial style buildings here. So there is plenty of them. least here in this part of the town, which is of course mixed with modern architecture. And yeah, it is a little bit of chaos, but still it looks much more cleaned up than Thailand and even many cities in Europe and other parts of the world. All in all, I have to say that it's really much more welcoming. Turning into a side street to check out the historical opera house, which has been built in the 19th century. It is not huge, so it's much smaller than, say, the opera houses in, let's say, Budapest or Vienna, but it is really a beautiful building. Let's get a little bit closer. That's the opera house. So let me see if it's possible to go inside. Wondering where I'm supposed to cross the street. Actually, it isn't that small. See? Okay, it's closed. Still, look at all these historical buildings, and I think not all of them are really from the colonial time, which lasted until the 40s of the last centuries. I think some of them have been built later, but in a similar style. You can find all kinds of luxury stores here, and of course you can probably imagine that this part of town is not cheap. The hotel prices are still okay, so I pay 45 euros per day for a hotel which is in a really good location right in the center, but well, I will show you later. It's a little bit old style, but it's clean and it's totally okay. It has actually been recommended to me by a local friend. Same street here. What you can see here is the historical city hall, which is now used for something else related to, well, something official still, but related to the party, but I don't actually know exactly what it is. And here you can see the statue of Uncle Ho. Some really perfect gardening here. Okay, so it is the Ho Chi Minh City People's Council People's Committee. But I have to tell you, I don't really know what exactly this means, and maybe it's not even that important. Another view of this impressive building with some palm trees in the foreground. So I think the next thing I'm gonna do to not only show some historical buildings and make it a little bit more interesting, I will go to one of the famous markets. Let's see if it has air conditioning. Actually, I don't think so, because I think it's already 32 degrees or something like that. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. But let's go. Oh, wait a minute. So you have to know, I mean, it doesn't really look like that if you are walking around here, but you have to be aware that this is a socialist country. You don't really notice it at all, but you find this, at least for me, a little bit confusing kind of socialist propaganda photos, especially this hammer and sickle symbol. There are some things, however, that don't really work that well in Saigon. This is a station of the metro line. The first time I heard that a metro is being built or should be opened in this town, in the city, was in 2015, I think. And the plan was to open the metro, or at least a few lines of it, in 2016. Now we are in 2024, and I think it's still absolutely not working. So this reminds me quite a little bit to some building projects in Germany. Makes me feel at home. This is the famous Benh Thanh Market. Let's give it a try and see if it's worth visiting or if it's only a tourist trap. Let's check it out. Okay. Looks like I'm gonna buy some t-shirts here a bit later, but not now. By the way, it actually is air conditioned, at least a little bit. I'm actually not planning to film that much here, because this was done before many times. There is an outdoor area with seafood and meat. Let's go inside once again. Look at that.
Hello.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So this seems to be the food court. Actually, I said I didn't want to film here that much because there is plenty of footage about this market done much more professionally than what I am doing. Is it worth visiting? I would say yes, but I am not really super impressed It's nice, but it isn't as huge as I actually thought. And so far I didn't check any prices. You definitely have to bargain here. Okay, I think that's it from Benh Thanh Market. I actually bought a t-shirt in Benh Thanh Market for 120,000 dong. That is, I think, something between 5 and 6 euros. First she wanted 200,000, but it was really absolutely no problem to get it down to 120. Here we are at another tourist hotspot. This is Notre Dame Cathedral, but how can it be different? It's being renovated, and I think it's been renovated for about 4 or 5 years. At least you can still see this famous statue of Mother Mary, but the church itself, you can see very much of it. Wondering if it's possible to go inside at least. Let's have a look, but actually I don't think so. At least there are some flowers in the construction site. Nice. So unfortunately we are not able to really look at the cathedral, but instead let's look at some of these billboards here. Unfortunately, I don't really understand what is written on them, but they look interesting. Maybe a little bit ridiculous, but okay, we have seen this guy before. Seems to be about vaccination. Something about children. And yes, you should take a bike. There is another famous historical building right opposite of the cathedral, and this is the historical post office, which has been designed by a famous French architect. You often hear that it was designed by Gustave Eiffel, which is actually not true. It is another famous French architect whose name currently doesn't get to my mind, but it's supposed to be quite a nice building, especially from the inside.
Ja, for 1300 skulle jo være
extremely crowded place here, and well, it looks like it's actually still being used as a post office, but there are also some kinds of other shops for souvenirs. really reminds me a little bit of I think it's the Nyugati Padialgua, the Western railway station in Budapest, which has a similar structure. It has more glass, but kind of reminds me. By the way, the whole town reminds me a little bit of, if it is comparable to any European city, it is somehow reminds me of Budapest. Of course, with a difference that here we have summer all the year. It's just a random street, and look at that pink church here. It is not being renovated, but still seems you cannot really go inside, but you can have a look at it from outside. Don't know what kind of church this is. But it's quite impressive. I'm not sure if it comes across in the video, but even here, when you're leaving the center, everything is much friendlier and also much cleaner. Much more welcoming than Bangkok was. When you look at the traditional houses here, yes, of course, some of them are not in the best state, but they aren't filthy or something like that. So people seem to take care, trying to keep it clean and nice with the means that they have. Finishing up this video in the same place where I started it, because it's even more impressive at night. Look at this screen over there. It's, I would say, about 300 meters wide, showing both advertisements and socialist propaganda videos. But actually, this is not worse than much of the stuff which is shown on German television. The place is really getting more crowded in the evenings, and also the traffic is getting crazier. But still, it is possible to cross the road if you really want to. So once again, there's absolutely no problem to cross the road here. Just have to wait a little bit to find a gap in the traffic, and that's it. I tell you, absolutely no problem. Okay, here we are. Oh, traffic light is being red. Actually, I didn't know that there is a traffic light here. Anyway, it worked. And another street to cross. This time I'm going to be more cautious. Just take your time, don't hurry, look for a gap in the traffic. Actually, there isn't such a thing, but okay, I think it's time. Actually, the cars are more problematic than the motorbikes. Especially German luxury cars, unfortunately. Okay, so this time, see you tomorrow. Bye bye.